Your phone, everything that you search, everything that you click on, everything that you like, every place that you go, when you go into geo-targeting, every app that you have on your phone tracks you and sells that data. It is compiled to create a profile, a pattern of who you are as a person. It gets so insanely specific. It knows impulses before you consciously are aware.
All right, guys, Tim Kennedy here. Man, there's a lot going on in the world right now.
It's wild. Yeah, it's a fun time to be alive.
Yeah, I was listening to your breakdown on Chris Williamson's show about the assassination attempt, and it was just fascinating.
Yeah, Chris is the best. What a horrible day in American history. You know, I think any form of political violence from any side is disgusting. It's detestable, and I wish, and I was disappointed to not see just an outcry from everyone on all sides that, you know, political violence just can't occur. Like,
right.
We're the beacon of light to the world about what freedom should look like. And, you know, you have people denying what happened. You have people wishing that guy could have been a better shot. It's disgusting. And anybody that speaks like that, that's not protected speech. That's disgusting speech.
Yeah, there's a line there. I think it's weird that there's still no really concrete answers either. That's concerning, right?
I mean, there are, just we, the people who should have all of the information, don't have any information because it's not being shared with us.
Right. So you think they really know what happened?
Yeah.
Certain people?
Yeah. The motivations, everywhere that he's been, you know, his apartment was curiously completely vanillaed. Like,
blanked out?
There's nothing in there. The silverware was completely clean. There wasn't a gram of dust anywhere.
Wow.
I mean, it was like pros went in there to clean it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of new information coming out that makes you just piece everything together, right?
To have is he a Gen Z or a millennial?
He's 21, right?
Yeah, so Gen Z. With no social media, you know, with that's
almost impossible.
It is impossible.
21 with no social media?
Yeah.
I haven't met someone like that.
No. Nope. It's a little too curated, and the information is
the day before.
Yeah.
That was weird.
The coincidences of like CNN being at a Trump rally for the first time on that day was crazy. The first time that you had counter snipers at an event that Trump was going to be speaking at. This is the first one they've had. He'd been requesting support and had been denied. He didn't get an increase of support. He actually had new, so the principal is like the person that the protection detail is taking care of.
Yeah.
He had new protection people around him, and they're using augmented auxiliary local law enforcement to cover down. You do like this survey of where the person's going to go, and then you figure out how many resources you need or how to set up the situation, the circumstances once you've identified all those threats to get rid of them. So like, you know, a barely slightly sloped roof that's 150 yards from where the president is standing to give a speech definitely falls into like one of the most heightened dangerous categories.
Right.
So that I don't think there's a single person on the planet that looks at this and is like, yeah, that checks out. They did their jobs there. You know, nobody's been fired from that team. Obviously, the director of the Secret Services stepped down. That's
a lot of
nothing,
weird
though.
instances, and
Yeah.
Biden stepping down a couple days later.
Yeah,
Like something's going on.
yeah. I mean, it was a passive coup. You know, it's a change of the American figureheads without a shot being fired. It's crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if he would have stepped down if that assassination happened.
I think everyone knows now how diminished he is and how long he has been that way. And if, you know, we go back in time for the past 3.5 years, and look at every single pundit that was like, you know, he's the sharpest he's ever been. He's you know, he's smart as a whip right now. You know, like he's in the best form. You know, he's ready for another 4 years. They knew better.
Yeah.
You know, they were just, it was bold-faced lie by each and every single one of them. And it's sad. You know, I think it's elder abuse what's happened to him for the past 2 years. You know, he has been a servant to this country, and agree with him or not, the vast majority of his.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/DSH and get on your way becoming your best self. My fiance Ariel plays a big role in my mental health, helping me realize my true potential. Everyone's trying their best around you, so take time to appreciate someone close to you. I've tried therapy in the past, and it helped me go through some tough times when I was in college dealing with mental health. I was on prescription medication. I actually had agoraphobia when I was in college, and therapy helped me figure out some answers to how to fix that problem. For 2 months, I couldn't even leave my house, or I would have a full-on panic attack. So I love companies like BetterHelp that can get therapy in front of the masses. But therapy definitely helped me get better, and I definitely appreciate companies like BetterHelp because it's completely online and it's conveniently suited to fit your schedule and accommodate life surprises. Fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a licensed therapist today with the freedom to switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Visit betterhelp.com/DSH to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DSH. Check them out now.
His adult life has been serving the American people,
Right.
And his beliefs, and that's what America's about. Agree or not?
Yeah.
He did his best, but for the past 5-7 years, his last couple of years as VP for Obama, and these 3 years as president, I mean, it's tragic what they did to him.
Yeah, that's my problem with Kamala because I feel like she's obviously aware of this, and I feel like we just need new leadership.
She was complicit.
Yeah.
She was complicit. She was hiding him. She was hiding his impaired state. Whatever he's going through right now, or it's dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever drugs that they have been pumping him up for debates and press conferences, she was complicit in that. And that is, if that was happening outside of the White House, and there was somebody in an inner circle, specifically in business or in a family, that person's liable and going to be arrested for a variety of crimes.
Right.
But it's the White House, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Let's
Unless you're
just
Trump, you'll get arrested for something.
Yeah, yeah, or 36 somethings.
Yeah. But you said you're purple, so you've voted both sides in the past?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a candidate and issue person way more than a party.
I like that.
And
I'm the same way.
I say I'm a constitutionalist and a libertarian. There's ideas from Kennedy Jr. that I like, and there's things about him that I don't like. His stance on guns, his VP pick, with Kamala and now Walz, it's real hard for me to find issues that they stand for that align with mine, because they are so anti-freedom, so anti-constitution, and those are the things that I really hang my hat on.
Right. And a big issue I've seen you talk about is the border stuff going on.
Well, I'm a Texan. I got my boots on. Yeah, almost wore a hat. But you could pull a hat off in Vegas, though, I think.
You probably could, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a couple of dudes. You got a lot of rodeo here, and Nevada definitely has some good cowboys. But unless you've been to the southern border, you can't understand how dire the situation is. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. The cartels are running shot on all of us right now, like the fentanyl that's coming across the border, human trafficking, the guns, and the scariest thing is the terrorists. We know that hundreds of terrorists have come across the border, 100%.
Wow.
We know for a fact, and we've caught a few of them, and we're like, hey, if we're guessing in proportion that you're going to get 1 out of 3, maybe 1 out of 5. And if you caught a couple hundred, that means a couple thousand made it through.
That's such a low ratio.
Yeah.
That's scary. So they're just chilling right here.
They're not chilling. Yeah, terrorists don't chill. They wait, they plot, they prepare, and they look for opportunity to instill fear.
So you could just walk through right now in Texas, the border.
It is huge. I mean, Texas is a gigantic place, and when you look at how long that border is, from the coast all the way into New Mexico, I mean, it's incomprehensible to somebody that. Do you know how big Big Bend is?
I don't.
Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't.
So it's one of the darkest places in the world, and it's one of the darkest places in the United States. I think it is the darkest place in the United States. You stand there, and there's no light for hundreds of miles, and you look up, and it's so eerie and beautiful. The stars almost feel imposing. It's one of the most incredible and beautiful and powerful places on the planet because of its vastness. That's like one state park in Texas.
Oh, wow.
On the border. And
so it's just impossible to physically man the border. It's
impossible. Yeah. And then, which is why, walls to create intentional choke points that forced people to try to cross in specific areas because it would be easier, using, when I say wall, sensors, both electronic and physical barricades that would enable people to actually protect that border. But the efforts at the border are split between the state, Texas, who is trying to have sovereignty for a nation or for a state. One of those necessary things is a line of what land is yours.
Right.
To make a sovereign country, like this is France. These are our borders, and we control this land. If it's a porous border, if it's anybody can cross at any point, there's no specific port of entry. Like, are you really a sovereign place? I mean, intellectually, philosophically, if we debate the idea, like, is a country really a country without a sovereign border? I don't think so. And there's a line in the sand, literally and physically and metaphorically, that says this is the United States and this is Mexico, and the line there is our border. And right now, it's so porous because Texas can't control it by itself. That's a federal issue, and Kamala was the border czar, and she did nothing to positively affect that border. So as a Texan and as an American, I have friends that have lost kids to fentanyl.
Wow.
Not even doing drugs. Like, it was present, or there was a West Point kid that went to give mouth to mouth to somebody that was at a party, and he by contact ended up with fentanyl, and he almost died.
Damn,
while he's trying to save somebody.
I didn't know it was transferable like that.
Yeah, it takes, not a gram. It's like a millionth. Like the lethal dose is so minute, it can be in anything. As I take a drink of water that you guys handed me. Here we go.
That is nuts. Wow. Right? So the states really can't step in on the border help.
They are.
Oh, they are?
I mean, Texas is the amount of resources that Texas have directed to the border, from Department of Public Safety, the Special Operations Groups, the Texas National Guard, local law enforcement, county law enforcement. I mean, they have leveraged every resource to try to protect their citizens. Like, it's their job to protect and preserve, right? There's not enough. Like, Texas can't control the entire border when it's the federal government's responsibility to have a closed border and to ensure that anyone seeking, whether it's asylum or even just to come into the United States, like when I just returned from South America a couple of days ago, I had to go through customs. I had to go through immigration, as does everyone else. I mean, unless you're a terrorist crossing the border with a bag of fentanyl on your back.
Yeah, so they need more support. Is Texas one of the worst states for people getting through right now?
No, everybody on the southern border is in this fight. California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, it's and when I say a fight, I mean literally. There's gunfights every single night. The cartel is a peer level adversary. They have billions of dollars, and when I say cartel, everybody immediately thinks like Narcos on Netflix or something. Like, these are syndicated businesses that are international. They own land, they own businesses, they can launder money, and if they're able to do trade in one form of human suffering, like drugs, they'll also do all other forms of human suffering, like human trafficking, like smuggling terrorists, like smuggling guns. The gambit that makes the money.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know it was this bad, dude. They don't really show this on the media.
Yeah, of course they don't. Like, I would love to take you down there. I promise, like, you'll have some talented, not Secret Service level people,
security with me.
talented people, and you would not. We would just stand there and we will watch hundreds of people cross the river.
What?
Hundreds.
You could see them crossing?
Yeah, you and I, just like this, having a conversation middle of the day. Watch hundreds of people come across the river.
And no one's doing anything.
Nothing.
Dude. And now they're saying some states will allow them to vote in the election coming up.
Yeah, I mean it's been intentional. Like they're given the driver's license. So bills as recent as this week have been signed allowing illegal immigrants to receive driver's license so they can walk into a voting place and show their ID, say that they live there. Of course, they're going to tell the truth and then vote. Then hop on a bus and drive to another place and do the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's weird. I'm actually friends with a couple illegals, so I'm a little conflicted, you know? There's some good people.
No, we're all immigrants. Look at you. Like, are you Native American?
No.
No. Am I? Obviously not. So like every single one of us came here as an immigrant. And I think it's a beautiful thing about America. Like, come as you are, we will protect you. But there has to be a system and a process. We're a nation of laws. And I live in Texas. Obviously, like I know a ton of immigrants and a ton of illegal immigrants. You know, like I'm a Spanish speaker, as is my family. And so we have, and I love them. They're great people. They're hardworking people. And helping them work through the legal process for them to be there and for them to be contributing members of society, for them to pay taxes, for them to have jobs, you know, for them not to be just a succubus on the American dream, but rather that we, the people portion, that all of us are created equal to, they meant that when they wrote that.
Right.
And, but we are a nation of laws and people have to follow the laws in the process. And if the process is broken, then we can have a conversation about how to fix the process.
Agreed.
Yeah. These are heavy topics. So we just jumped right into it.
I know. We jumped in. Let's go a little more lighthearted for a bit. Are you still going on any hunting trips?
Oh, heck yeah. I was in South America with some hopes. I was skiing a little bit because it's super duper hot in Texas right now. So I was like, oh, I'll go to Southern Hemisphere, do some skiing, and I'll hunt some stag. Unsuccessfully. The week before that, I was in South Texas on the Three Eagles Ranch doing a hunt with my 9-year-old, and we got this gorgeous axis on this giant piece of property. It just ended up being luck, but it was right as the sun. Like, hunting is one of the most wonderful and fulfilling things. You know, like you're out there in nature, and it's almost like you get a peek behind the curtain. That is, you know, the smoke and the mirrors, like the wizard's pulling all the levers, but you get to peek behind there and see what it really looks like when you're just silent and you're still. And, you know, you see little fawns running up, you see, you know, depending on what species you're hunting, like during the rut where, you know, like elk are like super aggressive and they're just like tromping on top of everything and they're just massive. You just can't believe that this thing exists and this is on our planet. You know, you see a moose for the first time and you're like, how is this real? You know?
Yeah.
And so my son and I shot this gorgeous axis.
What's an axis?
It's a deer that's spotted, but not like a baby deer. It's like a full grown, you know, they're about the size of a whitetail, or a little bit larger, but they have these huge, giant, gorgeous horns and this beautiful spotted fur.
Wow. And your son took the shot?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
At 9 years old.
Yep.
Impressive, man.
Yeah.
Not far out.
It was pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe 200 meters.
Damn. So a little farther than the Trump assassination attempt.
Yeah. Good thing my son wasn't up on that roof.
Holy crap. That's fun, man. I've never been. I got to
Let's
try
go.
one day. Yeah.
Dude, I'll take you. I mean, it's life-changing. Not just the hunt itself. You see this animal in life and it's happy. You know, it's like looking at the baby deer. You know, it's like, hey, what's up? You know, look at the girls just eating grass, hanging out with his buddies, and then darkness. You know, there's no pain. There's no like factory. There's no, that's not living in crap all day long. It's just like living its best life. And, you know, a proper hunter that's ethically harvesting, he knows when to hunt. He knows which animal to hunt at what time of year. He knows how old it needs to be, you know, towards the end of its life as both as reproducing, like it's how long it's able to be passing on good genetics.
Right.
So you're not going to kill a good genetic animal until later in life. A bad genetic animal, you're going to remove from the gene pool, which is important for a healthy herd. That's called culling. And I don't think anyone loves nature more than a hunter. Then after the hunt, after you've ethically and humanely ushered this thing into death, where it doesn't, like, literally, like, that bullet is a very specific bullet that carries a ton of energy, tore through the heart and lungs, and that heart never beat another time after that bullet went through it.
Right.
It's literally, that's it. And then, to clean it and to see it clean properly, and then to process it with somebody I know, and I know that that meat went from wildlife to my table, and I'm sitting there making tacos, for you, and onions that I traded with somebody for some of the meat. And it's
Deer
just
tacos?
like, oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds cool.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, because a lot of hunters get some heat, I'd say, trophy hunters and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does a real great job explaining really how important and necessary hunting is for the balance of life. In here in Nevada, you can bear hunt.
There's bears here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And New Mexico, Arizona, and the way that it works is they look at a region and they figure out how much meat, how much food is available for those bears. Let's say there's 20 bears in that region. They look at the amount of food, the amount of rainfall, and they say, man, there's only enough food for 10 bears. They could all die from disease, or they could, or worse, be pushed down to the suburbs to try and find food and scavenge for food, which will also give them diseases or get hit on the freeway. But that whole entire population is in danger because of the amount of food. So then they issued 10 hunting tags for hunters to come and kill the proper bears in that area to balance the amount of food and life that is for them.
Got it.
Like, that's just one example, and it gets way more complex, with seasons and their reproductive cycles, and it is for somebody that loves wildlife and loves nature and is a conservationist, as am I. Understanding it is part of being a good hunter, and like, all I know is good hunters.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it makes a lot of sense. Have you gone bear hunting before?
I have, yeah.
Really? What was that like?
I mean, it's epic.
They're like 500 pounds, right?
Well, you have black bears, you have brown bears. If you're up in Alaska, you got bears way bigger than 500 pounds.
They got the salmon up there.
Yeah,
They're eating good up there.
Their paws are like this big.
Jeez.
And in New Mexico, you got little black bears, and I took my buddy Dano. He and I were in Afghanistan together, and he has a couple Purple Hearts. Pretty amazing guy. Lost both of his legs, and this was one of the first times that he'd had a gun since he got blown up in Afghanistan. And we went on this bear hunt, and we're climbing up this mountain. And by climbing, I mean I was climbing. He was on his hands and knees because his prosthetics wouldn't bend to climb the Elgo. And
he was that steep?
Yeah, he was on his belly, like sliding and crawling on his hands and his stumps to get up this hill. It was so powerful. And I was so proud of him. He's like one of the greatest humans on the planet.
That's incredible.
And he got his bear.
Really?
Yep, sick.
So the point is to get some high ground so it can't like sneak up on you.
Yeah, we had it. That bear had run up in a tree and was treed, and so like we just had to get to that tree close enough to be able to shoot before it came down.
Wow, so they could climb a tree?
Oh yeah, they just like zoop, right up a tree.
That's scary. Because if you're ever running from one, my thought would be to climb a tree.
Don't do that. No, you're either gonna fall to your death or they're gonna eat you up top.
Damn.
Yeah.
Was that the toughest hunt, bears?
No.
Coyotes are fast. That might be difficult.
Yeah, predator hunting, that's a completely different thing, and that is a ton of fun. You can they have like Fox Pro. It's this box that plays the sounds of prey, and coyotes and bobcats and mountain lions come in, whether it's like a mouse screaming or a domestic dog that's making like a painful sound. The dogs come in. You set up where the dogs are coming into the wind, so like their scent, not your scent, is being blown to them because that they hunt off their nose more than anything.
Wow. So they could smell you?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
So if they smell a human, they're
gone.
They're gone.
Yeah,
because they know they could kill them.
Like a fart in the wind. They'll never be around.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're that smart.
Yeah. Yeah, hunting in backs. They'll try to lure a domestic dog out. They'll send a female coyote that's in heat into a suburb where the dog's there, will smell the dog and the coyote in heat and will like chase that dog out, and then the other pack will pounce on it.
Holy crap.
They're complex hunters.
That's
and they
intense.
also use other animals to hunt with them. You know, wolves are like ravens hunt with wolves.
Really?
Yeah. They'll be their scouts. They'll stay back and notify the hunt pack that something is happening with the cubs. And then when they're done with the carcass, the ravens get to eat the scraps. So it's a very symbiotic existence.
Interesting.
Yeah, nature's awesome.
Dude,
Man.
yeah, I never knew that. Holy crap. Have you gone bird hunting?
I have, yeah.
Eagles?
Yep. No. Yes. Like falcon hunting.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's probably the toughest shot, right? Because they're moving and...
Oh no, I've never shot. I've hunted with them.
Oh, with them.
Yeah, and then there's dove hunting in South America in Cordoba. That is beautiful and gorgeous in Argentina. You can last year I was on UK with my friend Joe doing a pretty incredible hunt that he set up, hunting pheasant and pigeon. It was freaking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude. Sounds like you really love hunting.
I love nature. Yeah, and I love feeding my family real natural food, not most of the poison that they try to feed us.
Oh, yeah. I only go to farmers markets. I eat local, organic.
Yep.
I mean, you feel so much better. It's like night and day.
You know, I spent like half my life abroad, and every time I come back, I land in Atlanta or JFK or Miami, you know, and like I get off that plane and I leave like these beautiful, healthy, vibrant people. And I land and all I see is fat people, like everywhere, you know? And I was like, what is happening here where we're literally dying, you know, of obesity, of just heart-related illnesses that are in conjunction with being overweight. And it's so sad. And I think it's mostly food related.
It has to be. It's so crazy because we're one of the wealthiest countries too.
Yeah.
And our health is probably one of the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's pharma, food, probably both.
Yeah. A combination of us being so prosperous, us being, you know, some of the food that Fruit Loops, look at the ingredients. If you text a friend in Spain or Italy, France, have them take a picture of the ingredients off of a bag of pretzels, of Fruit Loops, of almost every staple in American supermarkets here. Just have your friends that have the exact same product overseas take a picture of the ingredients and then compare the two. And half of them aren't even allowed in European countries. Like half the ingredients that we have in our everyday breakfast cereals aren't permitted in most European countries.
It's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, it seems like other countries are more proactive about banning bad ingredients in the U.S.
Yeah, but we are like, oh, it's a better color, even though it's poison, or you know, it makes it more vibrant. It makes it more addictive. You know, whatever the reason is.
And as kids, we're just eating cereal all day, every day. Reese's Puffs, Fruit Loops. You remember those?
Yeah, we didn't eat a lot of them, and my kids definitely don't eat any of them.
Nice.
They have eggs, wild eggs every day for breakfast. You know,
Can't beat that.
Nope, bananas and wild eggs with a little bit of pancake stabilizer into like these little protein cakes that they love. Like they pound them every day. It's
Yum.
Yeah.
You send them to public school?
No,
Nice.
absolutely not.
You started your own, right?
Myself and my partner Matt Boudreau, we first started like this online mentorship for I think just like young people that knew they needed more, whether they're in public school or private school. They're like, you know, they had a drive and a purpose. They had purpose, direction, motivation, but they nobody was providing them with direction, which started Apogee strong. And 3 years ago, you know, we had one physical location, and then we had 3, and then this year they're opening 50.
Holy crap.
Next year we're going to open 300 to 500.
Damn.
So
took off quick.
Yeah, by next year we'll have nearly 500 schools.
Dude, that's really exciting because no
Just
one's really
got-
done it at that volume.
No. Oh, I mean, we're going to go until the Department of Education is abolished.
I mean, they're on your radar, I bet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they're probably pissed at you guys because you're taking the kids from public school, stealing they're making money off those kids.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's just a money's game, and it's just a powers game. It's an influence game, and they they are trying to get to these young, impressionable minds to create tax mules to carry the tax burden of their own salaries moving forward. So, you know, like there's this convention belt of slaves that they're building,
Right.
and as an entrepreneur, I don't need a tax mule to work for me. You know, I need a collaborator. I need an inventor. You know, I need a critical thinker. I need someone with grit and hard work. None of these characteristics or attributes are encouraged, praised, or cultivated in public schools.
No.
But like, these are the things that like you know are so desperately needed right now.
Absolutely. I got bullied in public school for showing those traits.
Yeah.
Like kids thought I was weird.
Yep.
And that's how they're programmed.
Yep.
Looking back at it now, it makes sense. They were just so programmed.
Yeah.
You know, learn about geometry and algebra and all that useless
Don't learn
stuff.
about geometry. Learn about how to take a test about geometry, which is even worse because like geometry is rad. You know, astronomy is rad. Science, chemistry, math. It's all awesome and so important, especially for developing brains. But that's not what they're teaching. They're just teaching you how to take a test. They're just programming you to be what they want you to be and to be this good consumer. You know, to be trapped by this thing, to do what they say and to believe what they believe. And it's disgusting.
While charging you $40K a year.
That's right. That's right.
It's crazy.
That's right.
Yeah,
You
to
know?
look at it now from the outside, like, because did you go to college?
I did.
And you regret it now, right?
I do. So
Yeah,
unnecessary.
to look back at it now, it's like, wow, why did I even do that?
Yeah. College, what I like is it creates a requirement for somebody to give a product at a specific time with some very specific rules. And that person has to do some things to accomplish that, whether it's a lab or a report or an essay, you know, and that is the only semblance of the real world that is derived from college. Everything else is useless, especially that gigantic student loan that these people are then stuck under for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, but Apogee is completely taking this opposite approach. We are just empowering the individual. We are giving sovereignty and freedom back to the family. You know, we're saying it's nobody else's responsibility to educate or raise that child that you created besides you. And nobody has the authority over that child besides you. That's not the government's child. That is your child.
Right.
You know, like you love them, you created them. They are your responsibility. Give them the tools to be successful in life, not as a consumer, but for that individual, beautiful little soul. What does their future look like? It's whatever they're capable of doing. So then give them every opportunity to be the best version of themselves. That was Apogee.
Love it.
And it's just exploded. You know, it's whether it's like hybrid homeschooling or individual private locations and affiliates, or it's all online mentorship. You know, there's combinations of families that are doing a variety of things. You know, but like as long as they are on board of freedom, sovereignty, and responsibility, man, we'll take them with open arms.
Hell yeah.
You know, Apogee strong.
I'd love to help you push that, man, for real.
It's
That
important.
aligns with me a lot.
I'm scared about what the next 10 years look like. You know, with finishing high school and current college age graduates that are going to be coming in the next 10 years. Because I think the pendulum has swung or is swinging or is in the process of swinging back towards critical thinking, logical, hard work, grit.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
No.
And we have a ton of students that are the product of this current education system that is so disgusted, so flawed
Yeah.
that I don't know how it's all going to shake
It's
out.
scary. Yeah. I thought we were there just because the people we hang out with, it's easy to get in that bubble. But then this election stuff, you realize how close it is. You're like, wait, yeah, we're not even
What?
close to being there.
No.
You know, this should be an obvious choice, this
right.
election.
Yeah.
But they got so many people in that program, man.
Yeah.
In the public education. I don't know what % of the market it is. It's got to be above 90, I'd assume.
Yeah, it's more people have been moving towards homeschooling, private schools, starting their own schools to programs like Apogee Strong in the past few years. You know, people like Tucker Max that are like, man, I want sovereignty for me and for my family. And for sovereignty, for you to have true freedom, that in practice is sovereignty, where no one has a lever on me. Like you can't tell me to take an experimental drug because you have control over any aspect of my life. I can tell you like piss off because like I don't need to get on your bus. I don't need to get a paycheck from your company because I own my own company. You can't tell my kids they can't walk through the school doors unless they have this thing because I own the school, you know?
Right.
You can't not let me go to the grocery store because I can get my own food. Like this is sovereignty, and this is like the original America that we fought for and carved our existence out of the wilderness. And you know, ultimately in 1773, we're like, these people suck. And by 1776, would killed all of them or kicked them off the continent.
Yeah.
You know, for this idea of sovereignty and freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to reach sovereignty. I realized I thought I was doing decent, and then the CrowdStrike thing happened, and I was like, damn, I am really relying on certain industries like banking, even some grocery stores, payment processing shut down. So I need to work on that for sure. Yeah.
I was coming back from the Middle East when that happened.
Right, so your flight got delayed.
Dude, it was a mess. It was JFK, the people there like for 3 days crying in JFK.
3 days?
3 days.
Damn.
And like showing back up, trying to get on another flight, but you know, like 7 flights had been canceled. So all of those people into this next location had been pushed to the next. It was just, it was chaos. It was bad.
Yeah. Flights are a tough one to battle with, but I think food and education and banking, you can kind of go back to how it used to be, right?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It would be great.
Especially education, though. That's a
has
big
to happen. One. You know, but it's on us to fix it because you know no one's coming to save you. The government's not going to fix it. We see what the government has done to it. Like they've just made the school and teachers unions more powerful in states where you know those unions have real leverage over. Like those lobbyists have real power over those elected officials, and they're scared. And they cower and bend to the will of those organizations. That's just not American.
Yeah, it's not at all.
No.
And these schools are protecting child pedophiles.
Yes, they are.
My friend, Walter O'Brien, shout out to Walter, 5th highest IQ in the world. He used AI software to identify all these child pedophiles in the country that were teachers.
Yeah.
And he can't even do anything because he'll go to the education board and they'll fire them. He'll just teach at a different state. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but not surprising. Walter's awesome.
Yeah, Walter's the man.
Yeah.
But it's that easy. Say you get kicked out in Cali, you could just go to another state and teach kids there, even if you're a pedophile.
I think it's minor attracted person, Sean. Isn't that what they're calling?
Yeah, I can't even say the P word. Yeah, I might have to censor that.
Yeah. The I was reading on the flight here, as a matter of fact, the process of getting these outlandish ideas accepted, where you know you first change the name. And then after you change the name, then you change, like you're effectively trying to fight this philosophical idea of what is a mala and say act, like something that is just evil in nature, like preying on a child. Like, cool, we'll just change the name. And then after we change the name, then we're going to change the way that people view it and how we talk about it. And then after we do that, we'll change laws associated with it. And then after we change laws associated with it, we'll play on other minority groups, like blacks, to say, oh, well, African Americans suffered similar discrimination at this era in the 60s and 70s, but look at the similarities. You're like, there's no similarities there. That person's evil. Like, you're just a dark-skinned person. Like, this doesn't make any sense. But there's a very clear playbook about how they do it. And then after the comparison's been made from these minority groups, then they play the victim to get even more radical and dangerous laws to support their what originally was a pretty disgusting act.
Yeah. And they're pushing it on kids.
Yep.
Elon Musk, look what happened to one of his kids.
Yeah. Oh, man, that breaks. You know, he's what a great American.
Right.
You know, South African, but now American.
Yeah, look at everything he's done.
Yeah, immigrant. Awesome.
One of the best out there, I'd say. I mean,
for sure.
Changing the world.
Yeah.
But what happened with his kid, man? Holy crap. And that's why a big reason.
It's happened to so many, hasn't it?
Yeah, we all know someone that it's happened to.
And we're starting to see now the stories of regret and you know, I don't know what the right word, a trans survivor, where we were lied to, say that, if you go through this procedure or you take these drugs, your chance of is going to be decreased. So parents like, yeah, that check, that makes sense. Like, I want to do the right thing. This is what they want. No, they're a child. Their frontal lobe's not even developed. They're not allowed to have a tattoo or smoke cigarettes. They're not allowed to vote. They're not allowed to join the military. You're definitely not going to make a life-altering medical decision for them. Just like, give them a little bit of time. If they think they're a unicorn, like my 4-year-old, she like a couple of days ago, literally was like walking around with their tongue out of her mouth because she wanted to be a unicorn. She's like, I'm not going to have a surgery to put a thing on top of her head and add hoofs to her front hands. Like, that's insane because she's a child.
Yeah.
So it's my job to protect her.
Are you going to let them have social media, your kids?
No.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
No.
Firm stance on that.
Yep. Maybe junior, senior year in high school.
Wow, that's pretty late.
And that is just because after, they leave for what will be their version of college, which I think will look very different by the time that they're there. I think these institutions are going to be crumbling. I think, where you see the plagiarism of presidents of Ivy League universities that are just, you see what has happened in the past just 2 years. And that pendulum is just going to be swinging back, and people are going to be demanding.
Yeah, I think the colleges will be hurting.
Yeah,
their applications are already going down pretty quick.
Yeah,
for these Ivy Leagues and everything.
Yeah, and they're those giant funds of theirs, where donors are going to be like, I'm not giving money to the school, like the school that promotes radical ideas and a destruction of something that like I have built and created, that is the American dream. No, I'm done giving money to you guys.
Yeah, You were fighting for a bit. Did you ever fight against Jake Shields?
We trained together for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're kind of like second generation. Like, if you say Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz were peak MMA from California. We were like generation 2. So Chuck was cornering me in fights, and Jake would come down from, he was a Northern California guy. He'd come down to the Central Coast and train with me and Chuck and Gan McGee and Scott Adams and Justin Frazier, Glover Teixeira. It was just, it was a wild time to be fighting.
Legends.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Was he this outspoken back then?
He has always been, wires exposed, pretty hot.
Okay.
And
that's good to know. That's respect, because I didn't know if he was just going through a phase or something.
It's definitely more right now, or in the past few months, than I remember. He's always been a great fighter. I have nothing but, he and I have agreed and disagreed on lots of things, and he is one hell of a fighter.
Yeah, he's a beast. That win streak, what was it, 13 straight?
Yeah.
That was while you were fighting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, champ. I want to talk about the ad ID we were talking about off camera, because people don't even know they're being tracked that way. So could you explain that again?
Yeah, it's I don't know if people want to hear this though.
I think it's important, right?
Yeah. So your phone, everything that you search, everything that you click on, everything that you like, every place that you go, that when you go into geo-targeting, when it's asking if it has permission for you to do that, every app that you have on your phone tracks you and sells that data. All of that data is compiled to create a profile, a pattern of who you are as a person. And like in military terms, we'll say it creates a pattern of life for you. Where you shop, how fast you drive, what your interests are, if you're gay, if you're straight, if you're a guy or girl, your age, how fit you are. It gets so insanely specific, for you, 6'6", with your age, with like your sexual preferences, with what kind of things, what brands you like. It knows impulses before you consciously are aware. It knows when you're going to want to eat something. It knows that your heart rate, if you're wearing a watch, is going to increase when you're driving by a restaurant that you like. It knows that when you're in the proximity of a person that you have a crush on, physiologically, you're going to be changing. Your heart rate's going to be increasing. Your freaking watch knows that, and it knows that this is happening every time you're next to this person.
Holy crap!
The level of detail that it has on that ad ID, not your Apple ID, but more specific of all of your shopping and consumer habits. That it tracks where you go, how often you're there, the people that are around you. And that is accessible information to other people trying to sell you products, of course, as you get very targeted ads. You know, you talk about, man, I've been thinking about starting to swim, and then you get an advertisement for fins. You know, like, man, I'd really like to go to someplace warm for vacation this year, honey. Doesn't that sound nice? And then you're getting ads for Hawaii and the Bahamas, you know, but specifically in places that you can afford or right at the limit.
Wow.
Like, I don't think people appreciate like how specific some of those ads can be, you know, and they'll also be targeted ads from apps like Amazon or Expedia that are within your normal pattern of shopping. Well, that is just on the consumer side. Of course, you could weaponize that type of information to specifically identify where a person is at any given moment in time, what they're going to be doing, and how they're going to be doing it. And, you know, if me as a special operations guy, imagine the power that gives me. If I'm trying to find somebody for, you know, nefarious or for just reasons, I'm able to know exactly where that person is going to be in time and space.
Wow.
And
crazy. So did they have that while you were serving?
Yeah, degrees of that. For us to create a target package, we were trying to determine that person's pattern of life. You know, if you look at Zarqawi, he was the #1 guy in Iraq. That was like the baddest dude in Iraq during the peak war in 2004, 5, 6, 7. You look at Bin Laden and how they hunted him. Ultimately, they're just trying to figure out a pattern of life for this person. And that person, fortunately, for him, for a few years, he was able to hide his pattern by not having smartphones, by not having anybody with phones around him. And ultimately, it was a courier that had a phone that led us to where he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
He knew the phones were being tracked.
Oh, yeah.
And this was way back then, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. Voice recognition, obviously, like AI with facial recognition. You know, you can power your phone off completely and then set it in your room, put on night vision goggles, and you'll still see that phone pulse.
What?
Yeah.
So it's still on?
It's still on. Like your phone
Holy
is
crap.
never off. It is always listening and it is always observing. There's cameras on the front, there's cameras on the back, and there's microphones on it that will listen 24/7, even when it's powered down.
Dude.
Yeah.
So the government has access to that?
Huh?
That's scary. That's how I feel about Alexa, too.
Yeah.
I got rid of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is the same thing. You know, it's passively collecting all the time and then selling it to the highest bidder. And I mean, that.
Wow. So they're making a killing.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
You see that the Butler shooter, they ID'd that from his ad ID, they were able to look into the people that he was around, and there was somebody that he would continuously spend time with that would go back to a building adjacent to the FBI.
What?
And then go back to him. And the only reason they were able to know this was because his phone was connecting to that person's phone, and then they were tracking those two IDs to see where these two people were going.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they find out whose phone the other guy was?
Yeah, but they won't release that.
Oh, wow. So adjacent to the FBI, so it could have been...
I don't know.
You know, yeah, that's nuts. Keep this video up and not say what we're thinking. So that's a big
But
reason.
everybody's thinking it.
Yeah. That's a big reason why you got the unplugged phone then, I'd assume. Because that's way harder to track.
Yeah, Eric Prince, so the guy that designed this phone, he was the founder of Blackwater. And he was just on the Sean Ryan podcast. Real neat guy. He's also, like, if I was going to like pin a tail on a donkey about what does it look like to be a warrior for freedom and to be an out-of-the-box thinker, that's Eric Prince. He looks at a problem set and huge geopolitical problems, and he comes up with a solution that is so simple and so perfect, but not common, would be the opposite of the common approach to what we think. You know, let's send a diplomat from Department of State, or like let's use Department of Defense and like really show a strength here, you know, or insert all the diplomatic, information, military, and economic solutions that we're going to have to a problem. And then Eric Prince comes along and he goes like, well, here's this other thing that we could do. You know, you're like, what? Dude, that might work. He's done it over and over and over again. You know, like Blackwater was really one of the first private solutions to huge government problems, specifically around military. And while I'm completely against the military industrial complex, I do believe in capitalism and I do believe in privatization. And I think anything that the government does, we the people can do better.
Yeah.
So like there's very few things that I want the government to have control of. I would much prefer complete transparency from them and the power to always be with the people.
Absolutely. I remember the IRS basically, there was a huge breakout story that they could just see your bank accounts like a few months ago. Like they just have access to do that. That's such an invasion, you know?
Yeah, like we'll send a few $100 million to the Taliban, you know, often, like every quarter, and we'll give them like $60 to $80 million a week. But you know, Sean, if you Venmo me $200, you make sure you report that to the IRS. All right?
Nuts.
All right. Yeah.
Crazy.
This is crazy, right? It's nuts. Like that does.
Can't believe it. I need to get one of those phones. I've literally been on calls where I can hear it being tapped.
Yeah.
Like I hear someone recording it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've dealt with that too.
I'll get one for you.
Awesome.
They're hard to get right now.
I bet. Oh, they're sold out.
Yeah, it's
People are knowing that.
yeah, people are waking up, man.
Yeah.
There is a great awakening right now, and I love this. That as dangerous the past few years has been, it is fun right now to see, you know, like you look at your followers. You go into the comment section, people having like proper, healthy debates about ideas. Like that's cool.
That's great.
Give me some more of that. You know, healthy discourse about what a proper solution is to a problem. Like there's an awakening coming, and there's going to be consequence to the people that have had their hands pulling these levers for the past few years.
Absolutely.
Shame on them.
Yeah, shame on them. So economy's crashing. We're filming this August 7th, right? If people are watching this later. What's going on? You think World War III is possible?
Yeah, I do. It's Iran has been positioning for it. If you think the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas attack on Israel in October, if you think all of that's just like these crazy radicals or like these poor impoverished people, it's not. It's not. It is a country that wants to watch us go away. Our peers, China and Russia, are benefiting from Iran funding every terrorist organization that we've been fighting for the past 20 years.
Wow.
The Taliban, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, Al-Qaeda, Mujahideen, every single one of those funded by Iran. You know, the Iranian weapons that are being sneaked across the Mediterranean, they're being encouraged by our peer level adversaries like China and Russia. So unless we are, I think, dangerously close to all-out war.
Wow. Some people think we're already in it with everything going on.
We are in it. We absolutely are in it.
We're in World War III right now?
We are in a proxy war with for the first time, peer level adversaries. And in the ways that you can wage war, like are we diplomatically at war with China, Iran, and Russia?
Diplomatically?
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Informationally. Are we in an information war with Iran, China, and Russia?
For sure.
No doubt about it. Are we economically in a war with Iran, China, and Russia?
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Last is militarily. So in these kind of four ways that we can wage war, we are 3 out of 4 overtly at war, and the third and last, we are in a proxy war. So we're fighting in Ukraine against Russia. You know, like, are we really supporting Ukrainians, or are we fighting Russia and using their battle space and their people for our own war? Yeah, a little bit of that.
Right.
You know, are we really 100% supporting Israel, or are we fighting Iran because we're fighting Hamas, which is funded by Iran, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, both of which are funded by Iran?
Wow.
You know,
Yeah, these are good points.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it that way. But we're indirectly in war right now.
That's right.
No, the last step is just direct war, I guess, just to declare it.
Yep.
So that might be possible too.
Yep.
That would be a scary one.
Yes, it would be.
Russia and China against us? Damn, I don't think
Russia, China, Iran.
It's a big army.
North Korea.
They got the nukes there, right? Or is that myth been busted?
I think there's a lot of nukes out there now.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was like a meme for a while, the big red button.
Yeah. But when two sides realize that it's complete destruction to cross a line, it forces a different type of warfare.
Right.
And complete annihilation. And, if somebody came into my house, kicked in the door, tortured my family, kidnapped a couple of my family members and their friends and dragged them to their safe area, they know, because it's me, that I would destroy everything that was there to get my people back.
Right.
Scorched earth, salted fields, complete destruction. No generation, no food growing in that land for generations to come type warfare. Mm-hmm. And because of that, nobody's going to come into my house to do that, right? And this is like a mutually understood, there's lines that can't be crossed. Mm-hmm. And those lines have been crossed in the past 18 months.
Damn.
And, Russia crossing the border into Ukraine, Hamas being funded for years to prepare for this attack against Israel. It had to, of course, to do with Israel. It had some to do with Palestine. Had way more to do with Iran and their effort of destroying any Western influence within the Middle East.
Yeah, that's crazy. And with all the modern weapons, modern warfare, I can't even picture what that would look like.
Drone warfare is wild right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that advanced where they're just sending off drones to...
Yeah, AI drones, you have direct feeds of wire connected. You can't jam them. You literally have to shoot them out of the sky.
Wow.
And there's hundreds of them.
They're fast.
And they can, do anything. And they have thermal imagers and night vision, and they have ordnance on them. Some of them can shoot. It's just this warfare. What has progressed in the past 3 years is more so. We've been at war for 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. From 2001 all the way to 2021. Like, we were in active warfare in Iraq and Afghanistan, North Africa. And then what has happened since 2022 to 2024 and the rapid evolution of war is just, we haven't seen anything like this since World War II.
Wow.
How fast the progression and technological evolution has occurred.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I heard there's drones that they could fly in vents and just spy on you, and you wouldn't even know they're there.
Yeah, you got that. You have drones that look like birds. You have drones that are like little bugs that are like they're almost completely silent. You have direct line drones that there's no signal jamming that will be able to stop it. So
it won't even be troops on the ground. It'll just be
there'll always be troops on the ground.
Oh, okay. Just to like defend, I guess, but
to defend, but like, you don't own a land until you control that land and physically have things in place to defend that land.
Got it.
So like, while you might be able to remove the enemy in a given area, until you move into that land isn't controlled by you.
That makes sense.
So whoever controls the outside perimeter is the one that controls what's behind it.
How much faith do you have in Trump saying he wants to end all these wars, and do you think he could actually get that accomplished?
Yeah. I've been to war a lot, and I'm not a fan of war.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you joined to kill, like, 9/11. You really wanted to,
I watched a single mother jump to her death so she didn't burn alive, and her last act of conscious thought was to hold her skirt down.
Wow.
She'd gone into work early that morning so she could get off in time to be there with her kids when they got out of school. That woman jumped to her death so she didn't burn alive. Like, I don't care who did that. Like, they need to be in the dirt. And I was one of tens of thousands of people that tried to enlist on 9/11. Like, there's nothing special about me because there were lots more people there ahead of me. And whether it's Pearl Harbor, 9/11, but the world has to recognize the strength of the American spirit and the consequence of touching an American. Like, we should be off limits,
Right.
Like, man, it would be really nice to insert whatever that nefarious group wants to do, but then they're like, yeah, but they're American, like, they're going to rain down hell and fire on us, our family, and our world because of it.
That's how it used to be, I feel
That
like.
is how it used to be.
And then I feel like we've gotten pretty soft.
We have.
With Biden, right? Or was it before that? Was it Obama, you think?
Man, Obama loved him some drones.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know they were around back then.
Oh, yeah, dude. That guy did more drone attacks than any president ever in history
Holy
from
crap.
before up until today.
Wow, okay. So
Yeah.
he was an animal out there.
Yeah, with certain kinds of warfare.
Okay.
Yeah, he also had like the drawdown. We weren't winning any wars when he was in office. There was prolonged war because he was in office.
Right. Yeah, they lasted forever.
Oh, yeah.
You were probably in Afghanistan for years, right?
Yeah.
Were you in Iraq too?
I was, yeah.
Damn. You served a long time.
Yeah, 20 years this coming January.
Holy, oh, you're still active?
I am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I just re-enlisted on the 80th anniversary of Normandy, in Normandy, on D-Day.
Wow.
Yeah. It was sick.
Dude.
I like you see my kind of weird haircut. I had some of the guys that jumped into Normandy on D-Day. They shaved their heads like Native Americans and they put on war paint. And the group that I was with Black Rifle Coffee, Evan Hafer and Matt Best and Logan Stark, Andy Stumpf, we did our best to pay homage to that greatest generation. You know, we were cosplaying, I guess. We were like, is that what that is?
I think so, right?
Yeah. We were
love
just
it.
pretending to be the raddest dudes to ever walk the face of the planet.
There we go, man.
It was pretty sick.
Dude, this has been really fun. Where can people learn more about your schools and potentially sign their kids up?
Yeah, ApogeeStrong.com. You know, we have mentorship for families. We have obviously locations opening up if you're looking for solutions for your kids outside of public school. See if there's an Apogee school nearby. If there's not, open one. Like we make it. We teach you how to do it. We show you how to run a business. We give you all the keys to the castle to open your own school, so you have sovereignty over your family and their education.
Wow.
Like, don't hand that off to somebody else. You know, take sovereignty back, and the values that you have, pass on to your kids. Don't let somebody else teach them what's right and wrong. You know, like let you do that. It's your job.
Absolutely. We'll link it below. I will start a chapter one day when I have kids, man. For real.
My man.
Yeah,
Let's
I can't
do
wait.
it.
Thanks for coming
There
on.
is one here in Las Vegas.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Misha Tate.
Oh, I know him.
She's a great fighter here in Las Vegas. Yeah, well, I think there'll be a couple here in this Las Vegas area.
Let's go. Love it. We'll link below. Thanks for coming on, Tim.
Dude, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.